Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a Mexican style burger bowl. This is a really great lunch, dinner that you can have in the summertime, something that you can whip up really quickly. It is a Mexican style burger bowl. This is low carb, keto friendly, and super easy to make. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to prep some pickled onions. Now, the best part about a burger bowl is it's like a way easier way of eating a burger because it's just in a bowl. So that's why I like these, and they're also great for meal prep. I like to prep all the vegetables separately, and then you can have the meat on the side, heat up the meat, throw it on, and then you have a really easy lunch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna prep some pickled onions. Now, pickled onions seem like a very complicated task. It is totally one of the easiest things you're gonna make. I'm gonna take some red onions. They are thinly sliced red onions, and I'm gonna throw them into a mason jar. It doesn't have to be a mason jar. It could really be any bowl that is heat safe. Pack in as many onions as you want. I love pickled onions. I add them to a lot of things, so I like to make a lot at a time. So I'm just going to pack in those onions. Next, I'm gonna add some peppercorns. These are whole peppercorns. About 1 teaspoon. And then you wanna take some boiling water or just very hot water, and you're gonna pour it to half of whatever kind of container you're using. So I'm gonna do half of the mason jar. And then you're going to add some vinegar. Now, I like to use white wine vinegar. You could use red wine vinegar or white vinegar as well. But I think the white wine vinegar adds a little bit of sweetness without any actual sweetener. And it really just kicks up the flavor of the pickled onions a lot. I'm gonna fill up the jar the rest of the way with the vinegar. You now wanna take some plastic wrap, or if you don't want to use plastic wrap, that's fine as well. If you have some kind of jar that's not going to spill. And then you're going to cover. And I'm just going to mix that vinegar and the hot water together. And we're gonna let this sit while we work on the rest of our ingredients, because by the time we're done with everything else, the pickled onions will be ready. The next thing we're gonna work on is some tortilla strips. Now, I've used different kinds of tortillas on my channel. I've used the Mission Foods ones the most, and they are some of my go-to. They're just really low carb, and they're the closest thing to a regular flour tortilla. But for this one, I really like to use this type of keto tortilla. It is an almond flour tortilla. You only have 4 net carbs per tortilla, so it is really great. The almond flour is a lot more protein, and they're really delicious. They have this one, and they have like a flaxseed one. I'm not sponsored, but I really like these ones lately, so highly recommend. I think that they're the closest to like a corn tortilla. So if you are keto or low carb, make sure to go with this one. Just a personal recommendation. Again, not a sponsor. We're going to prep our tortillas with just literally however many you're going to use for this recipe. I'm gonna use 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut them into strips. So first I'm gonna cut the tortilla in half, and then I'm gonna cut it down like this into strips. Because what we're going to do is we are going to make them into a crunchy tortilla strip. I love when they have these on salads, but they're always like a regular corn tortilla or a flour tortilla. And obviously if you're on a low carb keto diet, you can't have that. So these have been a really great alternative for that. Although I do still love the Mission Foods ones, again, not sponsored, but those are my 2 favorite brands. And I'll make sure to put these down in the description below. If you can find these, I find these at Mom's Organic Market. They're the only grocery store that I found that they sell these. So I will, again, make sure to put that in the description below. Now, before we cook the ground meat of choice, I am going to prep my vegetables for this. So I like to use some green leaf lettuce. You could also use romaine lettuce for this, but I like the flavor of green leaf lettuce better. So I'm going to just shred some pieces. Just as many as you're gonna use for the base. Now that I've prepped the lettuce, I'm gonna prep a tomato. So I like to take a Roma tomato, cut out the center, and I like to dice this. So how I do it is I just slice it down like this. I wanna cut it long ways. Turn, and then chop. These burger bowls are packed with flavor and they are so nutritious, high in vitamin, high in protein, and you guys already know, most importantly, delicious. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and also like this video while you're at it. I have made a burger bowl video before on my channel, but it was more of like an American style burger. So make sure to check that video out. If you haven't already, I'll make sure to link it down in the description below. But this is my favorite, which is the Mexican style. I just love, like, you'll see how we'll give this a little flair towards the end of the video. And lastly, if you like a little bit of spice, you guys know I do, I'm gonna add a jalapeno. So again, piss off the jalapeno. I'm gonna cut off the end here. That makes it really easy to take out the seeds. And then I just like to slice it into large slices like this. So while we're cooking our ground beef, we're going to air fry the tortilla strips. What I like to do is just like how I do my tortilla chips, I like to throw it in the air fryer at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Just spray it with some avocado oil and you're good to go. It makes it the perfect crisp every single time. So I threw it in the air fryer tray. Gonna take some avocado oil spray and make sure it is totally sprayed, 350 for 10 minutes. We're ready to cook our ground beef. I have a nonstick pan heating on medium heat. I'm gonna take some avocado oil spray and just lightly spray the pan. And then I like to use 80-20 ground beef. You can also use the 85-15, that one works as well. I like to make sure I have some fat on it because therefore it crisps a lot better. But if you want to use an extra lean protein, that's fine too. You're gonna drop the ground beef into the pan. And then I saw this online, so I'll make sure to give a shout out in the description below of who showed this to me. But this is a potato masher. You can really easily mash up your ground beef in the pan using this. It's really similar to that tool I know that everybody has been using all over the internet. You literally just smash it like this. That's such a great hack. I'm now gonna switch over to a wooden spatula and we're going to completely cook the ground beef. I'm gonna add a generous pinch of salt, some paprika, cumin, black pepper, and garlic powder. I'll make sure to put the measurements down in the description below. The reason that I like to use the 80/20 ground beef again is because it has a higher fat content. So when it actually cooks, it crisps up in its own fat. As you can see, the fat is rendering really nicely, but you're not gonna wipe that away. You're gonna let it cook down until it gets really, really crisp. As you can see, a lot of the fat is now gone because it is cooked into the ground beef. It has crisped up the ground beef. Don't wipe away the fat. It really enhances the flavor of the ground beef. And if you're on a keto diet, it is really good to keep that fat in it and not wipe it away. Before your ground beef is finished, you can give it a taste to see if you want to add any more salt or seasonings. We're ready to assemble our burger bowl. So I am going to take my lettuce and throw it into a bowl. Again, just as much as you're going to eat. Next, we're going to take our jalapenos and our tomatoes and add them right on top of the lettuce. We'll take our ground beef and add that on top. Take our tortilla strips. Add our pickled onions. Of course, the longer you leave your onions, the more pickled they will be. These are perfect. I let them usually sit for about 30 minutes and that works every single time. Add as many as you're going to like for your bowl. And last but not least, every single burger bowl needs a sauce. So I am going to make a really easy sour cream lime sauce. This is a great go-to. It honestly works on a lot of dishes. So I like to make enough for a couple dishes. I just add it to one of these like sauce containers. If you don't have that, you can just mix it in a bowl and then drizzle it on top as well. Now, recently I have been obsessed with the Good Culture sour cream. Not a sponsor, but oh my God, it is so, so good. And it is pasture raised milk, so spot on. To my sour cream, I'm gonna add half of a lime. I'm just going to juice the lime directly into this container. Next, you're gonna add a little drop of your hot sauce of choice. I'm gonna use the Hot Ones Rojo one, just a spicy one that doesn't have too much flavor, but just a little bit of a kick. I'm gonna do a tiny drop. And then a little bit of water, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of water. You're gonna close that up and we're gonna shake this. I'll include the measurements that I like for my preference of the sauce, but you can play around with it depending on the consistency that you like. I'm gonna add my shredded cheese of choice, which is mozzarella and Monterey Jack. And finally top it with our sour cream and lime crema. And that is it, guys. A Mexican style burger bowl. Cannot wait to dig into this one. This has been such a go-to for me for lunches, for meal prep, because it's just so easy to make. Let's get a nice bite right here. I can't wait for you guys to try this one. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers. I absolutely love this one, and I know you guys are gonna enjoy this one too. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.